going slightly mad. I'm going slightly mad.
Do you want it? You want to? Okay. Please like and subscribe. Okay. Hello. Hello. So, how are you? What are you working on today at the moment? You're not going to tell me. Why aren't you going to tell me? I'm not going to tell you because it's not covered by copyright and somebody might steal my idea. Aloysius, that is the stupidest thing I've ever heard. No, people steal my idea. People will not steal your idea, Aloysius. No. Besides, you can't copyright ideas. Yes, but it's a really good idea. Yeah, it might be a really good idea, but you can't copyright ideas. It's not how copyright works. Copyright works on produced things. But it's a good idea. No, even if it's a good idea, it doesn't mean you can own the idea. Anyone can have a good idea. Multiple people can have the same idea, but they don't all produce the same work. Then what can be copyrighted? Okay, well, what can be copyrighted is a completed work. So, in Australia, every single thing you produce as a writer is covered by copyright. Automatically. You do not have to register copyright in Australia. Yes, that does include your shopping list and your personal diary and your letters, and everything is all covered under copyright. You own them. It is recognised in Australian law. No, the shopping list in your head is not covered by copyright. So, copyright is designed to protect creators and to allow them to have an income from the things that they create. So, in Australia, copyright lasts for your lifetime, yay, plus 70 years after you're dead. Why 70 years? Well, it used to be 50 years, and then Australia signed a free trade agreement with America, and it was extended to 70 years. And America extended their copyright to 70 years after pressure from corporations like Disney, who were going to lose copyright of certain key features of their thing, their brand. Disney was going to lose Mickey Mouse, basically. So they extended copyright laws because of that. What about using stuff in your book? Well, now that is a really interesting thing. When you are using things in your book, you can't use copyrighted materials. So that means no brand names and no things from works that are still under copyright. That means you can't publish your Midsummer Murders fan fiction, I'm afraid. Yes, well, I know fan fiction is a rather odd one that sort of sits in like this sort of a allowed nether zone of copyright. Because people don't make money off fan fiction, they are allowed to create it because it's seen as a way of enhancing the thing that they are fanning over. But you're not allowed to make money out of it. So all fan fiction sites are free, but they're not really a highly considered genre of writing. They're great for getting practice on, but you can't use them for anything else. But you see brand names and things in movies all the time. That is true. But that isn't a breach of copyright, Aloysius. That is very canning marketing. They have paid the producers of the film a lot of money to have their particular thing featured prominently in the film. Have they paid you a lot of money to feature that in your book? No, because that no one ever does. So therefore you have to This is why when you read books, people eat, they drink soda and they eat just hamburgers rather than McDonald's and Coke. They drive sedans instead of, Toyotas. They wear jeans instead of Levi's. There are no brand names in a work of fiction. Doesn't happen. Don't put them in. Your editor will have to take them out. What's about things from other things? Well, I did read in your book, one of your stories, that you decided to use like a lightsaber through hot butter, and we're not even going to go into why you felt the need to jazz up a cliche. That is a whole other discussion. But what I can tell you is that lightsabers belong to Disney and you cannot use them. So you have to take anything like that out of your writing. What's about me? What's about me? Well, I am out of copyright. The Mad Hatter, as part of Alice in Wonderland, is as a literary character, is out of copyright. And because the Mad Hatter is out of copyright, I can exist. I am an iteration of an out of copyright character. What about you? Well, you're Aloysius. You're from Brideshead Revisited. Aloysius in Brideshead Revisited is a bear, though. You are not in breach of copyright because you are a reference to rather than taking a character straight out of that. Okay, if you were a bear and if I were an English nobleman at university in the early part of the 20th century, then yes, I would be in breach of copyright. But I'm the Hatter and you're a bat and you happen to be called Aloysius. You are just a nice little plug for anybody who happens to catch on. Yes, exactly like Laura Trevelyan. Laura Trevelyan is from, the name comes from Patrick White's novel Voss. And Patrick White's novel Voss, the Laura Trevelyan in that, is a Sydney woman from the mid-19th century who has a spiritual psychic connection with Voss. Our Laura Trevelyan is an explorer of digital archives and other historical sources who dresses like a 1930s explorer. Even though the name is the same, it is not the same character. She is merely a reference. So, let's get this straight. You cannot use other people's copyrighted material in your book. Copyright lasts for 70 years after the author's death. You need to check copyrights for works that you would like to reference to see whether they're in copyright or not. If they are still in copyright, you need to seek permission from the copyright holders. If they are out of copyright, then it's fine. And 3, fan fiction is sort of outside of copyright. And the 4th thing is everything you write is covered by copyright, but you cannot copyright an idea and you cannot copyright a title. Yes, well, technically that would mean that you could call your book The Terminator, but if it's about cyborgs coming from the future to terminate the leader of the rebellion sent by the cybernetic Skynet or cybernetic system, there and the Terminator has an Austrian accent, then no, you can't. Yes, I know that probably does flush your whole idea down the toilet. You can have cyborgs because cyborgs are not a copyrighted thing, they're a generic term. You just can't call them Terminators and you can't model them on Arnold Schwarzenegger. No, you can't model them on Arnold Schwarzenegger. What about historical people? Well, that's interesting. Historical people are free range. You can put historical people into a novel. Okay, because it's a fictional work, you are not defaming them. And therefore, yes, you can put historical people into your book. So, yes. Yes. Are you now comfortable with how copyright works? You are? You feel that you can move forward now? Good. Okay. So, der Finger, ich bin ja, ich muss bereit, Bye bye.